temperature check. How's everyone doing today? Good. Can I get some nods? Yes? Okay, great. It's my pleasure to be here this afternoon. I know everybody has a busy schedule, especially during the weekend. So to be here and spend this afternoon is a wonderful opportunity, and to share my thoughts with esteemed colleagues who have gone through so many difficulties or challenges in life. I feel like, we as human beings, we always live day to day and figure out, each task, what we should accomplish each day and each week and each month. So I'm happy to share with you my sort of a background. I met with Rick when I was in high school. We went to the same high school. And then after that, I'm an artist, first of all. And to grow up from a very traditional family as well. My parents are very strict. So started from middle school, high school, I've been going through like traditional art education throughout almost my entire childhood. And to grown up through colleges, I went to National University of the Arts in Gwangju, and then after that I decided to study abroad and get my master's, so I went to SCAD. So it's a process of getting ready to prepare my English. My English was really poor, you couldn't believe it, in high school. Even though it was a really high school, my English was totally ruined by my high school teacher. She just played tapes in the class, tapes, and then nobody cares about tapes, right? So yeah, but that's another story. But so my first couple of years of college, grad school, actually was pretty difficult because, first of all, the culture shock. That was my first time ever being to the United States. I mean, I travel a little bit with my family, but you're protected. You don't go around explore it by yourself. So being in the United States for the first time and being in new languages and a new culture was totally a whole new thing. So my first couple years was challenging. I thought I should prepare some slides, but I could just go on and talk about things, and then these slides can just be sort of a background, and just let it sort of go through. Because to explain slides is it's kind of put everybody to sleep. I feel like sometimes, So we just normally multitasking, we're doing multiple things at the same time. We can hear multiple people speak at the same time. We know what's going on. So I just let the slides be in the background, and hopefully you guys can interact with me. So my first couple years I spent at the gym, I don't know what people do in the gym. It's so boring. But I found that, I couldn't understand what my professor says. Every time I asked them to kind of slow down, they try to slow down the first couple words or first couple sentences and keep going on the same normal speed. So I was still frustrating. And so those are some of the images of my work when I produced over my first couple years in grad school. So I went to SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. How many of you are artists or have done a little bit of art? Raise your hand. No? Some response. Okay, great. So I hope this is meaningful. Or if you haven't done any art, try explore yourself. This is very, very relaxing and very rewarding. You'll find your time much valuable spending doing things for yourself. Such as art or music. So my time in the gym was just spending time listening to the recordings of my professors and trying to understand what's going on in the classroom. So I wasn't able to answer any questions my professors threw at me. So every time I got a question, I'll be like, and smile, and then look around, and then my professor was like, oh, it's okay, anybody else? And I was like, okay, breathe. So I got a lot of that first couple of years, and I first, throw some practice. I will, finally, when I take a shower, I will kind of reflect myself throughout the days of all the challenges and sort of reflect upon each of the tasks, what I could have done differently to make it a success. So a lot of self-reflections, a lot of self-digestions of what's going on day to day. So after my couple years of grad school, I started to apply for jobs, right? So that's what people do. You graduate and you start looking for jobs. So this job market is totally different than Taiwan. I mean, I've done a couple of jobs in Taiwan before. Like I work at McDonald's in Taiwan, and I work at different places. But it's totally different in the States, right? I feel like the challenge is more so like there's a lot of opportunities out there, but you have to be able to be open-minded and also be able to network with other people. So from my culture or this kind of Asian culture, network sometimes can be super intimidating. Like I don't want to talk to you, and then you can put up a smile, but it's hard to put your first step forward. To talk to somebody who you never met or you first met. So that was kind of also a cultural shift. So I have to practice going to a bar and just talk to random people, of course. And so, but it was fun. Actually, I kind of liked it in a way that you'd be able to connect with, strangers that you never met before. But in a way that opens your self to be able to find connection with people. You're always finding connection with people you met every day, whether it's your background, your interests, or your professions, or maybe just your cultural connections. So you're always finding connection with people, in a daily basis. So I found that helpful with my interview with different companies. So I got accepted for my first job a year after I graduated, and then of course. It's by doing so much work. Like I have sent out over 100 resumes, of course, because being a foreigner, you have to put in much more work than just as citizens, because you are asking much more than a normal United States citizen. So I'm compete with them, and also I'm compete with them with the accent too. Interviews I practice, monk interview, all kind of practice with my former professors, and also finding mentors. Mentors is very important. You wanted to connect with people like-minded and also with similar goals, or people who have gone through some of the things that you wish to resolve. So finding mentors and then make their time valuable as well. Don't just call someone out of the blue and ask them questions. You have to build relationship with your mentors. Why do you want to spend their 15 minutes, even just 5 minutes? What we have done that makes them want to spend that 15 minutes to an hour, their valuable time. Time is valuable. Time is something that you can never get back. So you have to think about why you want to spend somebody else 1 hour or 15 minutes to help you. What are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the table to exchange to their valuable time, to help you progress, to help you, solve problems, things like that. So you have to think from other people's perspective to be able to create a connection, to create a meaningful relationship with others. Therefore, it is sustainable, and it's not just like a short-term relationship. So I've gone through that for my first job, and then it was in Jackson State. I think last time I spoke with you guys was 6 years ago. That was my last job in Jackson State University. So I taught there for 4 years. And then after that, I decided, I have reached my potential in Jackson, Mississippi, where I've never been to Mississippi before. I was like, and I realized that's actually the place where Blue and Jazz was founded. So it's also a minor culture shock from living in Atlanta, Georgia for 4 years before moving to Jackson, Mississippi. So after that, I sent out a whole bunch of resumes. At the same time, teaching, doing art, doing studios, talk to students, and doing my day-to-day task. So I went on a couple interviews, nationally. Flew out to California, flew out to Louisiana, and then I landed a job in New Jersey, where it's a little bit closer to New York, where I wanted to have my next growth of my career. So that was 4 years ago. So been spending about a decade in the States and teaching for more than 10 years. My first job in this university was HBCU. To some of those who don't understand what HBCUs is, a historical Black university and colleges, because in the United States we have segregation back in the 60s, and where people can't go to the same school together. So we have school that for Blacks, school for whites, terrible things. So I taught at the HBCU for 4 years, and then went on to Stockton University, where I currently teach. It's also a minor culture shift from predominantly Black college to more of a Caucasian white college. Of course, Asian is always a minority, no matter where I go, but it's still a learning curve for me from my last job to my current job, and it's been my 4th year. So some of the images are from just the classroom settings and how I interact with my students. Of course, they are all kind of art majors in both graphic design or applied arts or fine arts. So I teach mainly foundations, which means like 1st year, 2nd year, some of them are for 4th year or 3rd year, but mostly primarily in their foundation years. So I work with a lot of freshmen, which I get to see how they first came into colleges and how they grow, and before they graduate, how much they have learned and progressed and changed before they graduate, they exit their college. So that was a pretty fun process for me to kind of become friends or lifetime kind of a relationship with some of my students from different states. So I think the most challenges throughout teachings and throughout my personal studio practice is just basically be honest and be able to spend time with yourself, because a lot of times when we get a couple minutes, we just normally were accustomed to look down your phone and finding that likes from whether Instagram or from Facebook, and check out what other people are doing. But more so, I think self-reflection is a key point to understand where you are. Always reflect upon what you want to be in 5 years, and 10 years, and be able to set up a goal and set up steps. It's very painful because you have to break down. Who wants to break down how much money I spend every day? I mean, I just go, I want to buy this and that. But you have to be able to just take savings for instance. In order for you to save a certain amount of money, you have to be able to break it down to, okay, this month I'm going to save this much. This week I'm going to save this much. The same thing with goals. If you want to be, if you know your field or your professions, okay, how much years I can progress to get to, senior level, junior level, progressively, and what my career goals look like. You have to map out your career. And throughout that map, you can set a smaller goals. Okay, I need to improve my English, or I need to improve X, Y, and Z, so I can move on to the next level. I need to make friends, or I need to network with other people who are on the next level that can help me. And I'm able to contribute to their life, whether it's through some kind of services, or however you can provide to them to improve their lives. Therefore, you can be able to exchange and make the relationship sustainable. And then from that, you can build up your kind of platforms or network that can help you move on to the next level. It all sounds very tedious, and it sounds like a lot of work and a lot of thinking, which nobody likes to do. But if you break it down to simple steps, okay, this week, what I need to do, if you know how do I explain this? Kind of like you have to reflect yourself on what you want it to be in the next 5 and 10 years. Simple as that. And then through that, you can make smaller steps. And something to explore is just to not be afraid of failure. Like I always tell my students to fail. When you're in school, failing is in a safe place. Even when you're in the workspace, you can fail forward. By failing, you'll be able to understand, you'll be able to make adjustments much quicker than being comfortable. You have to stay uncomfortable. If you feel like you're comfortable, there's something wrong. Not something wrong, but like if you want to progress constantly, you want to be able to challenge yourself 2x, 4x, 6x of your life. So that way you can get to where you want to be and live up full potential for your life. So I guess that's, I'm open to questions. If you have any kind of questions on, any aspect of making your life successful or making a career, or questions about being an artist, what is my studio work like? I'm open to answer any questions, and hopefully this give you a sort of insight about what it's like being in the United States or being a professor in the States. And thank you.